Bem-vindo ao Deep Dumps. No Deep Dumps, nossa missão é ajudá-lo a passar nos exames de certificação com confiança. Acesse os exames de prática mais recentes, PDFs e testes online, sempre atualizados conforme os padrões reais. Com nosso material pronto para o exame, você terá os recursos certos sempre à mão. Milhares de alunos confiam no Deep Dumps, e muitos conquistam a aprovação já na primeira tentativa. Oferecemos suporte 24 de julho por e-mail ou chat ao vivo. E nossos especialistas estão prontos para esclarecer dúvidas e orientá-lo passo a passo. Baixe as perguntas e respostas em PDF. Pratique com questões de qualidade e explicações claras. E avance rumo ao sucesso garantido.
Question 1. Company XYZ is planning to deploy primary and secondary disaster recovery data center sites. Each of these sites will have redundant SAN fabrics and data protection is expected between the data center sites. The sites are 100 miles, 160 kilometers apart and target RTO are 3 hours and 24 hours, respectively. Which two considerations must company XYZ bear in mind when deploying replication in their scenario? Choose 2. Option A. Target RTO requirements cannot be met due to the one-way delay introduced by the distance between sites. Option B. VSANs must be extended from the primary to the secondary site to improve performance and availability. Option C. VSANs must be routed between sites to isolate fault domains and increase overall availability. Option D. Synchronous data replication must be used to meet the business requirements. Option E. Asynchronous data replication should be used in this scenario to avoid performance impact in the primary site. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option C. VSANs must be routed between sites to isolate fault domains and increase overall availability. Option E. Asynchronous data replication should be used in this scenario to avoid performance impact in the primary site. Question 2. An architect receives a business requirement from a store that states the RTO and RPO for a new system should be as close as possible to 0. Which replication method and data center technology should be used? Option A. Synchronous replication over geographically dispersed dual data centers via MPLS. Option B. Synchronous replication over dual data centers via Metro Ethernet. Option C. Asynchronous replication over geographically dispersed dual data centers via CWDM. Option D. Asynchronous replication over dual data centers via DWDM. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option A. Synchronous replication over geographically dispersed dual data centers via MPLS. Question 3. What are two primary design constraints when a robust infrastructure solution is created? Choose 2. Option A. Component availability. Option B. Monitoring capabilities. Option C. Project time frame. Option D. Staff experience. Option E. Total cost. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option C. Project time frame. Option E. Total cost. Question 4. Which network management framework can be used to develop a network architecture that contains business requirements, analysis, gap analysis, and network diagrams as artifacts to be used for design and implementation later? Option A. FCAPS. Option B. COBIT. Option C. TOGAF. Option D. ITIL. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C, TOGAF. Question 5. Which two types of planning approaches are used to develop business-driven network designs and to facilitate the design? Decisions. Choose 2. Option A. Strategic planning approach. Option B. Business optimization approach. Option C. Tactical planning approach. Option D. Modular approach. Option E. Cost optimization approach. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A, strategic planning approach. Option C, tactical planning approach. Question 6. Refer to the exhibit. Acme Mining has 4 data centers in Santiago, Cape Town, Mumbai, and Beijing. Full mesh connected via a 400 megabits per second EVP LAN. They want to deploy a new mission-critical application with these requirements. Asterisk cluster heartbeat 2 megabytes per second continuous. 250 kilobytes per second. Asterisk cluster heartbeat one-way maximum latency 100 ms. These are the current ping tests results between the 4 data centers. Which hosting data center pair can host the new application? Option A. Mumbai and Beijing. Option B. Cape Town and Mumbai. Option C. Cape Town and Beijing. Option D. Santiago and Mumbai. Option E. Santiago and Beijing. Option F. Santiago and Cape Town. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B, Cape Town and Mumbai. Question 7. Refer to the table. A customer investigates connectivity options for a DCI between 2 production data centers to aid a large-scale migration project. The solution must provide a single 10G connection between locations and be able to run its own varying course profiles without service provider interaction based on the migration stages. All connectivity methods are at 10 gigabits per second. Which transport technology costs the least if the connectivity is required for just 1 year? Option A. DWDM over dark fiber. Option B. Metro Ethernet. Option C. MPLS wires only. Option D. CWDM over dark fiber. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D, CWDM over dark fiber. Question 8. Refer to the table. A customer investigates connectivity options for a DCI between 2 production data centers. The solution must provide dual 10G connections between locations with no single points of failure for day 1 operations. It must also include an option to scale for up to 20 resilient connections in the second year to accommodate isolated SAN over IP and isolated dedicated replication IP circuits. All connectivity methods are duplex 10 gigabits per second. Which transport technology costs the least over 2 years in this scenario? Option A. CWDM. Option B. DWDM. Option C. MPLS. Option D. Metro Ethernet. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B, DWDM. Question 9. What are 2 examples of business goals to be considered when a network design is built? Choose 2. Option A. Integrate endpoint posture. Option B. Ensure faster obsolescence. Option C. Minimize operational costs. Option D. Reduce complexity. Option E. Standardize resiliency. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C, minimize operational costs. Option D, reduce complexity. Question 10. Refer to the table. A customer investigates connectivity options for a DCI between two production data centers to aid a large-scale migration project. The migration is estimated to take 20 months to complete but might extend an additional 10 months if issues arise. All connectivity options meet the requirements to migrate workloads. Which transport technology provides the best ROI based on cost and flexibility? Option A. DWDM over dark fiber. Option B. MPLS. Option C. CWDM over dark fiber. Option D. Metro Ethernet. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D, Metro Ethernet. Question 11. SDWAN networks capitalize the usage of broadband internet links over traditional MPLS links to offer more cost benefits to enterprise customers. However, due to the insecure nature of the public internet, it is mandatory to use encryption of traffic between any two SDWAN edge devices installed behind NAT gateways. Which overlay method can provide optimal transport over unreliable underlay networks that are behind NAT gateways? Option A. DTLS. Option B. TLS. Option C. IPSEC. Option D. Gray. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C, IPSEC. Question 12. Company XYZ wants to use the FCAPS ISO standard for network management design. The focus of the design should be to monitor and keep track of any performance issues by continuously collecting and analyzing statistical information to monitor, correct, and optimize any reduced responsiveness across the network. Which layer accomplishes this design requirement? Option A. Security management. Option B. Performance management. Option C. Accounting management. Option D. Fault management. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B, performance management. Question 13. Company XYZ has implemented policy-based routing in their network. Which potential problem must be kept in mind about network reconvergence and PBR? Option A. It can limit network scalability. Option B. It can create microloops during reconvergence. Option C. It reduces convergence time. Option D. It increases convergence time. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. It can create microloops during reconvergence. Question 14. SD-WAN can be used to provide secure connectivity to remote offices, branch offices, campus networks, data centers, and the cloud over any type of IP-based underlay transport network. Which two statements describe SD-WAN solutions? Choose two. Option A. Control and data forwarding planes are kept separate. Option B. Solutions allow for variations of commodity and specialized switching hardware. Option C. SD-WAN networks are inherently protected against slow performance. Option D. Solutions include centralized orchestration, control, and zero-touch provisioning. Option E. Improved operational efficiencies result in cost savings. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. Control and data forwarding planes are kept separate. Option D. Solutions include centralized orchestration, control, and zero-touch provisioning. Question 15. Company XYZ is in the process of identifying which transport mechanism to use as their WAN technology. Their main two requirements are a technology that could offer DPI, SLA, secure tunnels, privacy, cores, scalability, reliability, and ease of management. A technology that is cost-effective. Which WAN technology, i.e., should be included in the design of company XYZ? Option A. Both technologies should be used. Each should be used to back up the other one. Where the primary links are MPLS, the Internet should be used as a backup link with IPsec. And vice versa. Option B. MPLS meets all these requirements and it is more reliable than using the Internet. It is widely used with clearly defined best practices and an industry standard. Option C. Software-defined WAN should be the preferred choice because it complements both technologies, covers all the required features, and it is the most cost-effective solution. Option D. Internet should be the preferred option because it is cost-effective and supports BFD, IP/SLA, and IPsec for secure transport over the public Internet. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option C. Software-defined WAN should be the preferred choice because it complements both technologies, covers all the required features, and it is the most cost-effective solution. Question 16. Refer to the diagram. Which solution must be used to send traffic from the foreign wireless LAN controller to the anchor wireless LAN controller? Option A. Send packets without encapsulation to the anchor controller over the routed network. Option B. Encapsulate packets into an EOIP tunnel and send them to the anchor controller. Option C. Send packets from the foreign controller to the anchor controller via Layer 3 MPLS VPN or VRF Lite. Option D. Send packets from the foreign controller to the anchor controller via IP in IP or IPsec tunnel. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option B. Encapsulate packets into an EOIP tunnel and send them to the anchor controller. Question 17. The company XYZ network is experiencing attacks against their router. Which type of control plane protection must be used on the router to protect all control plane IP traffic that is destined directly for one of the router interfaces? Option A. Control plane protection transit subinterface. Option B. Control plane protection host subinterface. Option C. Control plane protection CEF exception subinterface. Option D. Control plane protection main interface. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option B. Control plane protection host subinterface. Question 18. An architect designs a multi-controller network architecture with these requirements. Asterisk achieve fast failover to control traffic when controllers fail. Asterisk yield a short distance and high resiliency in the connection between the switches and the controller. Asterisk reduce connectivity loss and enable smart recovery to improve the SDN survivability. Asterisk improve connectivity by adding path diversity and capacity awareness for controllers. Which control plane component of the multi-controller must be built to meet the requirements? Option A. Control node reliability. Option B. Control path reliability. Option C. Controller state consistency. Option D. Controller clustering. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option B. Control path reliability. Question 19. Which two control plane polycar designs must be considered to achieve high availability? Choose 2. Option A. Control plane policies are really needed only on externally facing devices. Option B. Control plane policies can cause the network management systems to create false alarms. Option C. Control plane policies require that adequate protocols overhead are factored in to allow protocol convergence. Option D. Control plane policies must be processed before a forwarding decision is made. Option E. Control plane policies are enforced in hardware to protect the software path. But they are hardware platform dependent in terms of classification ability. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option D. Control plane policies must be processed before a forwarding decision is made. Option E. Control plane policies are enforced in hardware to protect the software path. But they are hardware platform dependent in terms of classification ability. Question 20. A small organization of 20 employees is looking to deliver a network design service for modernizing customer networks to support advanced solutions. Asterisk project scope and weekly progress should be visualized by the management. Asterisk always consider feedback and make changes accordingly during the project. Asterisk should consider flexibility to change scope at the point of time. Which project methodology meets the requirements and have the least impact on the outcome? Option A. Lean. Option B. Six Sigma. Option C. Scrum. Option D. Kanban. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option D. Kanban. Question 21. Which two impacts of adding the IP event dampening feature to a network design are true? Choose 2. Option A. It switches traffic immediately after a link failure. Option B. It improves overall network stability. Option C. It speeds up link failure detection. Option D. It protects against routing loops. Option E. It reduces the utilization of system processing resources. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option B. It improves overall network stability. Option E. It reduces the utilization of system processing resources. Question 22. You have been asked to design a high-density wireless network for a university campus. Which two principles would you apply in order to maximize the wireless network capacity? Choose 2. Option A. Choose a high minimum data rate to reduce the duty cycle. Option B. Make use of the 5 GHz band to reduce the spectrum utilization on 4 GHz when dual band clients are used. Option C. Enable 802.11n channel bonding on both 4 GHz and 5 GHz to increase the maximum aggregated cell throughput. Option D. Increase the number of SSIDs to load balance the client traffic. Option E. Implement a 4-channel design on 4 GHz to increase the number of available channels. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option A. Choose a high minimum data rate to reduce the duty cycle. Option B. Make use of the 5 GHz band to reduce the spectrum utilization on 4 GHz when dual band clients are used. Question 23. Which optimal use of interface dampening on a fast convergence network design is true? Option A. When the switch hardware is faster than the debounce timer down detection. Option B. When numerous adjacent flaps of very short duration occur. Option C. When occasional flaps of long duration occur. Option D. When the router hardware is slower than the carrier delay down detection. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is Option B. When numerous adjacent flaps of very short duration occur. Question 24. A healthcare customer requested that SNMP traps must be sent over the MPLS Layer 3 VPN service. Which protocol must be enabled? Option A. Syslog. Option B. SNMPv3. Option C. SNMPv2. Option D. Syslog TLS. Option E. SSH. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. SNMP-v3. Question 25. Which management category is not part of FCAPS framework? Option A. Performance. Option B. Authentication. Option C. Security. Option D. Fault management. Option E. Configuration. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. Authentication. Question 26. A BGP route reflector in the network is taking longer than expected to converge during large network changes. Troubleshooting shows that the router cannot handle all the TCP acknowledgements during route updates. Which action can be performed to tune the device performance? Option A. Decrease the size of the small buffers. Option B. Increase the size of the large buffers. Option C. Increase the keep alive timers for each BGP neighbor. Option D. Increase the size of the hold queue. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D. Increase the size of the hold queue. Question 27. Which two conditions must be met for EIGRP to maintain an alternate loop-free path to a remote network? Choose 2. Option A. The reported distance from a successor is higher than the local feasible distance. Option B. A feasible successor must be present. Option C. The reported distance from a successor is lower than the local feasible distance. Option D. The feasible distance from a successor is lower than the local reported distance. Option E. The feasibility condition does not need to be met. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. A feasible successor must be present. Option C. The reported distance from a successor is lower than the local feasible distance. Question 28. Which undesired effect of increasing the jitter compensation buffer is true? Option A. The overall transport delay decreases and quality improves. Option B. The overall transport jitter increases and quality issues can occur. Option C. The overall transport delay increases and quality issues can occur. Option D. The overall transport jitter decreases and quality improves. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C. The overall transport delay increases and quality issues can occur. Question 29. What is the most important operational driver in building a resilient and secure modular network? Design. Option A. Minimize app downtime. Option B. Reduce the frequency of failures requiring human intervention. Option C. Increase time spent on developing new features. Option D. Dependencies on hardware or software that is difficult to scale. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. Reduce the frequency of failures requiring human intervention. Question 30. Refer to the exhibit. For company XYZ, Bangkok is using ECMP to reach the 172.20.024 network. The company wants a design that would allow them to forward traffic from 172.16.024 toward 172.20.024 via the Singapore router as the preferred route. The rest of the traffic should continue to use ECMP. Which technology fulfills this design requirement? Option A. Policy-based routing. Option B. Unequal cost load balancing using variance. Option C. Route summarization. Option D. LFA. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. Policy-based routing. Question 31. Company XYZ is running OSPF in their network. They have merged with another company that is running EIGRP as the routing protocol. Company XYZ now needs the two domains to talk to each other with redundancy, while maintaining a loop-free environment. The solution must scale when new networks are added into the network in the near future. Which technology can be used to meet these requirements? Option A. Single point route redistribution with route filtering using route tags. Option B. Multi-point route redistribution with route filtering using ACLs. Option C. Multi-point route redistribution with route filtering using route tags. Option D. Single point route redistribution with route filtering using ACLs. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C. Multi-point route redistribution with route filtering using route tags. Question 32. What are two common approaches to analyzing and designing networks? Choose two. Option A. Three-tier approach. Option B. Top-down approach. Option C. High-low security approach. Option D. Bottom-up approach. Option E. Left-right approach. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. Top-down approach. Option D. Bottom-up approach. Question 33. Refer to the exhibit. OSPF is running as the IGP to provide reachability to all AS100 networks. R3 and R4 are the current ABRs at the boundary of OSPF Area 0 and Area 1. Now BGP must be deployed within AS100 because it will be receiving internet routes from its eBGP peers. The service provider connected to R1 and R2. What is an optimal solution for this deployment to configure BGP relationships and redistribute BGP learned routes into OSPF? Option A. R5 should be configured as a route reflector for R1, R2, R3 and R4. BGP routes must be redistributed at R1 and R2 into OSPF. Option B. Confederation should be set up with R1, R5, and R3 in one sub-AS, with R2 and R4 in another, and redistribution at R1 and R2. Option C. R1, R2, R3 and R4 must be set up with a neighbor relationship with R5 only. R5 must not be a route reflector. Option D. A full mesh should be deployed between all the routers with mutual redistribution to take place at R1 and R2. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. R5 should be configured as a route reflector for R1, R2, R3 and R4. BGP routes must be redistributed at R1 and R2 into OSPF. Question 34. A multicast network is using bidirectional PIM. Which two combined actions achieve high availability so that two RPs within the same network can act in a redundant manner? Choose two. Option A. Advertise the two RP addresses in the routing protocol. Option B. Use two phantom RP addresses. Option C. Manipulate the multicast routing table by creating static routes to the two RPs. Option D. Control routing to the two RPs through a longest match prefix. Option E. Use anycast RP based on MSDP peering between the two RPs. Option F. Manipulate the administrative distance of the unicast routes to the two RPs. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. Use two phantom RP addresses. Option D. Control routing to the two RPs through a longest match prefix. Question 35. Refer to the exhibit. Which impact of using 3 or more ABRs between the backbone area and area 1 is true? Option A. In a large-scale network, multiple ABRs can create microloops. Option B. Multiple ABRs reduce the CPU processing on each ABR due to splitting prefix advertisement between areas. Option C. Prefixes from the non-backbone area are advertised by one ABR to the backbone area. Option D. In a large-scale network, LSA replication by all ABRs can cause serious scalability issues. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option D. In a large-scale network, LSA replication by all ABRs can cause serious scalability issues. Question 36. Company XYZ runs OSPF in their network. A design engineer decides to implement hot potato routing architecture. How can this implementation be achieved? Option A. Enable IBGP and apply prepend to ensure all prefixes will have the same length of the AS path attribute value. Option B. Redistribute the external prefixes onto OSPF and ensure that the total metric calculation includes external and internal values. Option C. Enable OSPF load balancing over unequal cost path. Option D. Redistribute the external prefixes onto OSPF and ensure the total metric calculation includes only the external value and the value is the same in all ASBRs. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option B. Redistribute the external prefixes onto OSPF and ensure that the total metric calculation includes external and internal values. Question 37. How many fully established neighbor relationships exist on an Ethernet with 5 routers running OSPF as network type? Broadcast. Option A. 5. Option B. 6. Option C. 7. Option D. 10. Option E. 20. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option C. 7. Question 38. How can EIGRP topologies be designed to converge as fast as possible in the event of a point-to-point link failure? Option A. Limit the query domain by use of summarization. Option B. Limit the query domain by use of default routes. Option C. Build neighbor adjacencies in a squared fashion. Option D. Limit the query domain by use of distribute lists. Option E. Build neighbor adjacencies in a triangulated fashion. Choose the correct answer. Correct answer is option A. Limit the query domain by use of summarization.